Prosper Show, for those that don't know, it's probably the largest marketplace show for Amazon sellers, but it's evolved into a show that also is catered towards Walmart and other marketplaces as well. So I'll give you some of the findings that we took away from the show, and we'd love to have you interact with us on our Q&A as well. So for those of you that are joining us via the social media live feeds, click into the registration link and log into the webinar. That'll allow you to click on the Q&A button and ask questions. And those that are already on the Q&A, just feel free to ask questions along the way. We'd love to get your input. Any questions you have, please just chime in there and we'll get to them pending our availability. If we don't get to them, we'll follow up with you after the webinar. So what was the overall consensus of the Prosper Show? I would say it remains the dominant show for Amazon sellers. It's big. It has the biggest expo hall of Amazon specific vendors. So if you're looking for any type of software solution or vendor, it's the place to be. I think they did some nice improvements on the expo hall this year. They've allocated more time for people to wander through the expo hall. We also noticed that the food was elevated this year. However, they lacked seating, which is a kind of a problem. I found was that I would estimate like 25% of people didn't have seating at the tables that they had there. So operationally, I think they had some challenges. For example, the very first night, they had a welcoming party, and about halfway through, they shut it down, so they were at capacity. Disappointing, not the kind of thing I would have expected had it been run by James Thompson, the original founder. He operated it in such a tightly done way that you didn't have those types of failure points. But you'd think Emerald Exposition would have their act together. Unfortunately, there were some failures like that. Content-wise, it was really hit or miss. I think the overall consensus was that content was weak at this particular event, but there was some really good content. But it was kind of a hit or miss whether you were going to attend the right session or not. So some people were really thrilled with the content they had, but I would think the vast majority was a little underwhelming. Of the ones that I had attended personally, I felt that a lot of them were more beginner oriented, not as advanced. They were still well done. It was good, good structure to them, but the content itself didn't really add much value to a consultancy like ourselves or an advanced seller or even an intermediate seller. So from the clients that we had at the show, that was their general perspective. But if you had thoughts, I'd love to have you just chime in and enter them on the Q&A. If you were in attendance, we'd love to hear your thoughts. So some of the takeaways, just pull up a list here of some things that I jotted down. There were some kind of cool takeaways that I think are worth talking about. One was the prevalence of AI tools. It was really cool to see just how much the e-commerce industry is starting to use AI to optimize Amazon listings, to figure out who the Amazon customer is, things like that. So one of the seller hacks actually talked about this. I thought it was really interesting. Ben Weber spoke about how you can use ChatGPT to identify the customer avatar, who is your core customer, and then ask it to show you the 5 biggest problems with your product, and then, or you can do it on a competitor item, for example, and then actually write the bullet points speaking to those problems and towards, like with a lens towards your core customer base. I thought that was pretty interesting. For those of you that don't know what ChatGPT is, let me show you an example. And in fact, if you got one of the emails I think last night we had sent out one reminding you of today's session, and we actually did not say anything ourselves. I basically went into ChatGPT and said, write a newsletter or an email announcing a webinar that's recapping the Prosper Show, and ChatGPT typed it all up. Every paragraph, every word you had in there, except a couple things that like name that we had to autofill. That's cool. I mean, it was really well done. But let me share my screen. I'll give you an example of another use case. So you can look at my screen. You'll see ChatGPT. This is run by OpenAI. So there's a kind of a lookalike you don't want to use. So you want to make sure it goes to chat.openai.com /chat. And this is what you would do. You would type up something that asks a question. So I'm gonna go to Amazon, for example. I'm gonna pull a random product. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to give us information about it. So I will just pick one of these random products. So let me click into men here. And I will click into this Gap hoodie. I'm going to copy the URL once I get there. And I'm going to come back to ChatGPT and I'll say, tell me what customers like and dislike about this product. This is just one example. You can use it for all sorts of things. As Ben mentioned, trying to figure out who's your customer and have it actually predict who is your customer avatar. Have it literally tell you what's wrong with your competitors' products, what they love about your product, and allow you to write the content. In fact, you can even have it write the bullet points. You can say, write the bullet points talking to these 5 benefits and keep them within 250 characters, and it will write the bullet points for you. Now, is it perfect? Absolutely not. But is it really pretty good? I would say I'm impressed constantly, a lot more than I am disappointed with what it produces. So as you can see, it's now summarizing the likes and dislikes of this product. And if it was a more complicated product, we'd probably get some better information because it's apparel. It's probably not as many likes and dislikes as a more, like electronics, for example, or something like that. There's multiple tools you can use. Another example is Bard by Google. I'll just pull this up, bard.google.com. I don't find this to be as strong as ChatGPT. We've also been using Jasper for about a year now here at Prime Guidance, and we found it to be very good, but we actually find ChatGPT to be better and more flexible. Jasper tries to overstructure things on what templates you use to ask certain things. ChatGPT is like an open canvas. Just ask it whatever, and it will come back with a response. I'm kind of a geek. I love this kind of stuff. So when I'm running on the treadmill or something, I'm actually playing around with ChatGPT, just asking it random things just to see how good it is and what kind of insights I get. And it helps us explore how we can use it. So what I would challenge you to do is figure out what this could be used for to drive your business. So before we move on to another insight we took away from the show, I want to open up to the team. What do you guys think? And I know we've been using various AI tools. What do you think is some of the things that our sellers could be using this for, and how valuable it could be to change this industry?
One of the things that we always counsel our clients on is that they should always look at their competition to find out what do consumers not like about the product, there, whether it's very specific or just general, and make sure that we address those things on our product when we're creating the bullet points or an infographic or whatever there. So I think this is a perfect way to do that, and a lot quicker. So you don't have to go through and read all the different things. It's going to summarize those specific, like exactly what you did, the dislikes here. I think that's a fantastic use for this.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And, I've been using Jasper a lot, and this compared to Jasper, it just seems so much easier and more simplified and more effective. Because what you mentioned earlier, Steve, with Jasper, you kind of have to pick the right layout, and you could fill in all the information and realize, oh, this actually isn't the format that I need. And you have to keep doing it again and again to find the right solution. So this is really good and helpful.
Yeah. In fact, Jungle Scout actually came up with a version where you can actually input all the keywords that you want to have it right, and it'll just rephrase, or it'll build a structure of a bullet point using those keywords. So you can kind of do the research and then have it, you select the AI assist button and have it automatically come up with the title, come up with description, come up with bullet points. That is a much better starting point than what you would have done yourself in all likelihood. So this is just one example of a tool that has realized the power of AI and has said, you know what, it could be even more powerful if we have it directed towards a specific task and, just get really good at doing it. So in this case, the main benefit is, you don't have to take all the keywords, do your research in one tool and then go into another tool to have it right. You can basically do it all right from here. I've been super impressed with it. And anything, as you can see, it came back with all of the likes, the dislikes. If I were to say, let's say, write 5 bullet points on this product, talking to key benefits, staying under 250 characters each. It would then, go one step further and say, let's write this. What do people like about it? And let's write the bullet points. So I have found that you just speak to it in normal language and you get really amazing results. So while this is kind of pulling up, by the way, so when we had the newsletter written, the very first time it finished all but the last sentence and it errored out. It was the first time we've had ChatGPT error out, probably due to network usage. There is a $20 option to pay to upgrade to Plus. But I haven't found a need to use it at this point because that's the only time it's ever errored out. But when I hit regenerate response, this didn't do a great job. I should have given it more details. But if I hit generate response, it actually writes something completely different. So we actually took 2 kind of letters and picked which one we thought was best, but you could always pick parts of each to use. I didn't want to do that because I wanted to show you just a raw email that was 100% AI driven, start to finish. So hopefully you'll find that interesting.